Have you ever wondered how the Amish manage to live so austerely without feeling deprived? I've spent the last few days researching frugal living tips inspired by their way of life, so you don't have to. Today I bring you 35 practical strategies you can start applying to optimize your expenses without sacrificing quality of life. So, if you want to save money while discovering a simpler, more fulfilling pace, here are the first tactics to make your budget go further. Drink more herbal teas or infusions. Did you know that, on average, a family can spend up to $900 a year just on sugary drinks and sodas? Following the Amish example, replacing those pricey beverages with herbal infusions or tea can make a world of difference in your budget. Why tea or infusions instead of sodas? Because they're cheaper, offer health benefits, and don't have the excess sugar that spikes daily calories. Also, always keep a thermos of your favorite infusion on hand so you won't be tempted to buy expensive coffee or soda when you're out. Your wallet will thank you, and you'll reduce your intake of artificial chemicals along the way. Cook in large batches. Eating out not only impacts your wallet. A family of 4 can easily spend $230 on a single restaurant meal these days. The Amish philosophy reminds us that the kitchen is an ally of our finances. Instead of thinking of dinner at the last minute, schedule at least one day a week to cook in large quantities. Then freeze portions so you have ready-made meals for the whole week. What you'd spend on just one trip to that trendy restaurant can turn into several days' worth of homemade dishes. In true Amish style, reserve restaurants for special occasions, not for daily routine. Turn leftovers into new dishes. Ever cook something and end up with leftover portions that wind up in the trash? The Amish hate waste and have perfected the art of reusing leftovers. With a bit of creativity, that roast chicken from yesterday can become tacos, sandwiches, or a stew with whatever vegetables you have at home. The key is to see leftovers as raw materials for a new dish, not boring food. This way, you save money, cut back on waste, and add a creative twist to your meals. Prepare your coffee without capsules. Coffee capsules can cost as much as $35 or $40 per pound if you do the math per unit. The Amish prefer traditional methods, a large drip coffee maker, a French press, or a stovetop kettle with a filter. Besides being cheaper, it lets you control the quality and freshness of your beans. Want that special flavor? Buy whole bean coffee and grind it at home. The aroma that fills your kitchen when you brew coffee manually is infinitely better than standing in line to pay $6 or $7 for a latte with some seasonal topping. Bake your own bread and pastries. Have you ever tasted a truly freshly baked roll straight from the oven? The Amish have, which is why they bake several times a week. While most people spend $5 or $6 on a loaf of bread or $30 on a bakery cake, they save money using basic ingredients: flour, yeast, water, and butter. Start with simple recipes, like white bread or butter cookies. Once you master the basics, move on to whole wheat loaves or breads flavored with spices. Not only will you save money, but your home will be filled with an irresistible aroma that no air freshener can imitate. Recycle glass jars for everything. Take a peek in an Amish pantry, and you'll see glass jars reused endlessly. Old jam containers, honey jars, juice bottles, all rescued and gleaming, used to store food, spices, and even homemade detergent mixes. This way, they avoid spending on plastic containers that get cloudy or break easily. Plus, glass doesn't retain odors or toxins, so the next time you finish off that jar of pickles, clean it well and give it a second life. Transparent storage helps you see what you have and when you need to restock, preventing duplicates or expired items. Shop cooperatively to buy in bulk. In many Amish communities, multiple families coordinate to purchase sacks of flour, sugar, or rice in bulk at lower prices, then divide the goods. It not only strengthens community bonds, but also results in significant discounts. However, buying in bulk without a plan is a mistake. Make sure you'll actually use what you buy before it goes bad. Like the Amish, check the expiration date and consider how much you consume in a realistic time frame. If it's too much product for you alone, why not team up with friends or neighbors and split the costs and quantities? Grow a small garden, even in pots. You don't need acres like some Amish do to enjoy fresh veggies. A couple of pots on your balcony or a tiny patch in your yard can become your mini garden. Lettuce, cherry tomatoes, aromatic herbs. With dedication, a few plants can provide abundant harvests. Did you know that a small tomato plant can yield up to 20 pounds in one season if well cared for? And that sun-ripened flavor can't be matched by anything in the supermarket. Growing at home teaches patience, respect for nature, and of course, saves you money. Learn the art of food preservation. The Amish are experts at canning, drying, and fermenting nearly any seasonal product. Instead of letting fruit spoil, They turn it into preserves for the entire year. With simple techniques like water bath canning or fermenting, they make pickles and sauces that last for months. If you find tomatoes at a bargain price in the summer, take advantage, make homemade sauce, and store it. The pleasure of opening a jar of tomato sauce in the middle of winter and tasting its freshness is unmatched. Plus, fermented foods are rich in probiotics that benefit intestinal health. Repair your home with your own hands. For the Amish, calling a specialist for minor repairs is almost unthinkable. Following their example, before hiring costly services, see if you can learn to fix it yourself. YouTube and DIY forums are full of tutorials on how to fix doors, leaky faucets, or cracked walls. Be sensible. If it's something electrical or gas-related, it may be best to call a professional, but basic DIY can save you hundreds of dollars a year and give you the satisfaction of solving household problems with your own skills. Keep your pantry always stocked. A common mistake is letting your pantry run completely empty, forcing you into panic buys at high prices or resorting to fast food. The Amish keep their pantries well stocked with staples, grains, legumes, canned goods, so they can cook immediately without rushing to the store. Make a list of everything you consider essential: rice, oats, beans, pasta, sauces, etc. Arrange your products so older items stay up front. A well-organized pantry not only cuts costs and stress, but also keeps you from tossing food that goes bad in a forgotten corner. Forget about expensive brands. Attractive labels and fancy ads cost money, and someone has to pay. You. The Amish don't let marketing seduce them. They buy generic products, as long as the quality meets their standards. Surprisingly, many supermarket brands come from the same factory as those famous labels. Still not convinced? Do your own blind tests at home. Compare a commercial cereal with a generic one. Often, you won't notice a difference. So instead of paying for slick ad campaigns, choose the version that tastes good and offers nutrition at a lower cost. Say goodbye to disposable paper towels. When you visit an Amish home, you won't see piles of paper towel rolls in their cupboards. Instead, they use sturdy, durable cloths. Consider that a family can easily spend $160 or $180 a year on paper towels that end up in the trash. It's better to invest in cotton or microfiber cloths that can be washed repeatedly. This way, you not only save money, you also cut down on your environmental footprint. You can assign different colors for different uses: kitchen, bathroom, surface cleaning, and keep a separate bin for dirty rags. Toss them in the wash every few days, and you're done. Learn basic sewing. Big fashion brands don't want you to know this crucial fact. By simply knowing how to sew on a button or fix a hem, you can extend the life of your clothes for years. The Amish pass these skills from one generation to the next, avoiding unnecessary expenses every time a pair of pants gets a tear or a blouse loses a button. You don't need an industrial sewing machine. A kit with needles, thread, and quality scissors is enough to start. Repair your basic wardrobe and, if you're feeling adventurous, you can even redesign old garments to give them a fresh style. You'll reduce the amount of clothing headed for the trash, and your wallet will thank you. Hang your clothes to dry. Did you know that your clothes dryer can be one of the biggest energy guzzlers in the house? In Amish communities, they take advantage of the sun and wind to dry their clothes. A sturdy clothesline and some clothespins are all you need. You'll end up with clothes that have a fresh, natural scent no dryer sheet can imitate. It's also gentler on the fabric, extending the life of your garments. Just check the weather forecast before washing to avoid surprise downpours. If you live in a place with limited space, a folding rack on the balcony or patio works wonders. Use bright, targeted lighting. Old movies often show people using a single lantern for an entire room, revealing a trick. Instead of turning on several dim bulbs, use one strong, focused light that brightly illuminates the space. This reduces electricity use and makes it easier to see what you're doing. Switching from incandescent bulbs to high-efficiency LEDs can save up to 75% on your electric bill. Plus, the Amish organize their routines to make the most of daylight by getting up early and going to bed early. Try adjusting your daily activities to daylight hours so you don't rely so heavily on artificial lighting. Learn simple haircuts at home. Why spend $30 or $40 every month at the salon if you just want a basic trim? In Amish communities, haircuts happen at home, turning it into a family bonding moment. Worried about messing up someone's look? Start with the kids, whose cuts are usually simple and who may be more forgiving of an uneven result. Look for tutorials online. Buy proper haircutting scissors, not the ones from your kitchen, and practice. For major style changes or complex hairstyles, go to a pro. But for basic upkeep, you can easily save hundreds of dollars a year. Make your own homemade soap. Ever wonder why Amish-made soap is so highly regarded? It doesn't contain harsh chemicals or artificial perfumes. You can also make your own bars using essential oils, glycerin, and lye. It may seem laborious at first, but once you get the hang of it, making 10 or 12 bars costs about the same as buying just 2 in the store. Plus, you control the quality and scent, adding ingredients that nourish your skin instead of drying it out. Pro tip: let the bars cure in the open air for 4 to 6 weeks so they become harder and last longer in the shower. Give handmade creations as gifts. When birthdays or holidays roll around, many people spend a fortune on store-bought gifts. In contrast, the Amish turn their talents into presents with sentimental value. Natural lotions, knitted scarves, beeswax candles. That personal touch makes for an unforgettable gift. You could make relaxing bath salts or personalize mugs with special ceramic paint. These are thoughtful details that cost very little but have a big impact on the recipient. Plus, creating something by hand carries a level of care that ready-made items simply can't match. Resist the temptation of passing fads. Ever crave something trendy, only to end up storing it away after a few months? To avoid impulsive purchases, the Amish only invest in durable items. Before buying the latest gadget or a cutting-edge piece of furniture, ask yourself, will I still be using this in a year or two? Sometimes, a classic design that fits anywhere and doesn't go out of style is best. This mindset saves you money and prevents clutter from objects that quickly lose their appeal. Ultimately, it's not about having the newest thing, but about owning what you'll truly use. Explore natural remedies. The Amish often turn to herbal remedies before rushing to the pharmacy for every ache. Of course, this doesn't mean replacing a doctor when it's serious, but for minor pains or simple symptoms, ginger tea with honey and lemon can be just as effective as store-bought syrups. Another example, warm water compresses with mint leaves for a stomachache. These are age-old remedies that are often cheaper and free of side effects. Just be cautious. If a symptom persists, seek medical attention, just like the Amish do when it's warranted. Stay informed with survival and remedy books. The only promotion you often see in Amish or Amish-inspired channels involves books that preserve survival techniques, how to farm during difficult times, how to store food using old-fashioned methods. This generational knowledge is invaluable if you live in harsh climates or face periods of inflation. There are also natural medicine guides that explain how to use plants for common ailments. The key is learning to rely less on what the industry sells and more on the kind of folk wisdom that can help you through tough moments. Buy used items wisely. For the Amish, buying secondhand furniture or clothing isn't a sign of hardship but of common sense. In thrift stores or at flea markets, you can sometimes find solid oak tables in great shape at rock-bottom prices. Here's how to buy well. Check the stability of the item. Make sure the fabric has no impossible stains, and inspect the finish. You'll turn your search into a treasure hunt where you might stumble upon true vintage gems. And if something needs a little paint or varnish, roll up your sleeves. You'll love the feeling of rescuing a forgotten item and giving it new life. Walk or bike. Short distances. With gas prices through the roof, every mile in the car is costly. The Amish are known for using horse-drawn buggies, but they also walk long distances. Do you really need to drive to get bread 2 blocks away? Walking or biking saves you fuel and offers free exercise. Adding up all those short trips you could take on foot can significantly cut your transportation costs. Plus, it boosts your physical activity, releasing endorphins and encouraging a healthier lifestyle. Share tools with your community. How many times a year do you use that expensive polisher you bought? We tend to accumulate tools that only get used a few times. The Amish solve this by sharing and lending tools to one another. If your neighbor needs an electric drill and you need a weed trimmer, why not swap for the weekend? Besides being more eco-friendly and budget-conscious, it fosters closer relationships with your neighbors. Starting a local tool exchange group on WhatsApp or Facebook could save everyone hundreds of dollars on equipment that only gets occasional use. Opt for homemade cleaning solutions. The Amish keep their homes spotless without spending on brand-name cleaning products. White vinegar, baking soda, and a splash of lemon juice are their go-to staples for cleaning surfaces, disinfecting bathrooms, and getting rid of odors. For example, to degrease the stove, mix equal parts vinegar and water. For the sink, sprinkle some baking soda and scrub with a damp sponge. These methods aren't just cheaper, they're also more eco-friendly and healthier, since they don't release toxic substances into the air. Exchange skills with your neighbors. Just like we used to trade cards or stickers as kids, we can barter knowledge as adults. If you're great at gardening but hate ironing, maybe a neighbor is a whiz at ironing and needs help with their plants. The Amish have fostered this kind of community exchange for decades, benefiting everyone involved. Instead of money, you trade time and expertise, which strengthens social bonds. Plus, you discover new skills and stay more active and creative. Not everything has to be paid for with cash. Sometimes the contract is just goodwill and a willingness to help. Reuse wood and leftover materials. Few things align better with the Amish mindset than avoiding throwing away anything that can still be used. Got a leftover piece of wood after repairing a fence? You could turn it into a plant shelf or a small bench for your entryway. Sawmills produce shavings and sawdust that can serve as compost material or pet bedding. Before rushing to the hardware store, check your leftovers corner. Nails, screws, scraps of boards. You might find exactly what you need. With a bit of know-how, you'll be surprised how many repairs or small DIY projects you can complete with what you already have. Eat seasonal fruits and vegetables. Berries in the dead of winter often cost double and taste like cardboard. The Amish understand that every fruit or vegetable has its peak season when it's tastier and cheaper. Instead of buying melon in cold weather, they choose oranges or tangerines bursting with flavor. This mindset saves you money and lets you enjoy fresher produce. Buying in season also supports local farming, another principle close to Amish culture. And if you find a great deal on large quantities, remember point 9. Learn preserving tricks so you can enjoy that fruit year-round. Set a budget and stick to it. You might think you know where your money goes each month, but if you sit down and track every expense, you could be surprised. The Amish are methodical. They decide how much they'll allocate to food, housing, and savings, and they stick to that plan. Grab a notebook or a simple app and write down each expense, no matter how small. At the end of the week, review it. Could you cut something out or redirect money toward a project that excites you more? Adjust based on your situation, but don't lose sight of your goal to save or invest in what really matters. It's simple, though not always easy. Cancel unnecessary subscriptions, streaming services, music apps, monthly surprise boxes. Each fee seems small, but together they can add up to $150 or $200 a month. The Amish don't tie themselves to recurring payments unless they're indispensable. Make an inventory of your subscriptions and ask, when was the last time I actually used this? Or, could I live without it? If the answer is yes, cancel it. That money can go into an emergency fund, a trip, or anything else that brings more real value. Plan your meals wisely. Staring into an empty fridge at 7 p.m. sends you straight to fast food or a delivery app. In Amish communities, planning the week, or even the month, is almost sacred. Start by checking your pantry and fridge. Which ingredients are about to expire? Then put together balanced menus that make use of what you already have. You can even try batch cooking days. Cook several meals and freeze them in portions. Being this organized curbs cravings and sudden expenses, and it also fosters more mindful eating. The greatest lesson from this entire journey is that true wealth isn't measured by how much money is in the bank, but by the ability to adapt and be self-sufficient, to cultivate harmonious relationships, and to live free of financial stress. When we let go of the need to impress others or collect trivial objects, we discover a space of peace and gratitude for what we already have. Remember that frugality does not imply constant deprivation. Rather, it's about making the most of what you have and finding joy in simple things. As they say in the Amish community, money can buy you comfort, but not the satisfaction that comes from a job well done or a life in balance. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe to learn more about the Amish community.